Good afternoon. We are continuing to work with proportions. Today, we're doing CO33. I can write and solve proportions within measurement systems. So there will be times that you need to solve proportions with different units. Complete and use the guide below to help you remember those conversions. I do this all the time when I'm cooking. I need to convert stuff. When you're working with building something, you might have to convert between inches and feet and yards. There's lots of times in real life that we need to do these conversions. Let's see how good we know our conversions to fill in this top section. So hopefully y'all know this first one. How many seconds in 1 minute? 2. So we are recording this, and this is a lesson. So this is a reminder that this is serious time. We do not yell out goofy answers. That is not respectful, and it's not responsible sixth grade behavior. So while we're going through this, if you know the answer, I'm saying you can say it out loud, but we will not be silly about it. So let's continue. How many minutes in 1 hour? 60. How many hours in 1 day? 24. How many days in 1 year? 365. How many inches in 1 foot?
12.
How many feet in 1 yard? 3. How many yards in 1 mile?
1,760 feet. 1,760.
Wow, that's impressive. That one usually stumps people. How old?
5,580.
How do you guys know that?
We did this in the class.
Nope. I'm asking a serious question. Do you just have it memorized, or did you do the math?
I did it last year.
You did it last year?
Yeah, memorized.
Oh, good job. Now the next one goes along with our baking. When we're in the kitchen cooking, how many ounces in 1 cup? 16.
8.
I heard 12, I heard 16, and I heard 8.
200. I have no idea. It's 8.
8 ounces in 1 cup.
2 cups of liquid.
How many cups in 1 pint? 2 cups in 1 pint. How many pints in 1 quart? 2. And how many quarts in 1 gallon? 4 quarts in a gallon. So, to be honest, I do a lot of baking and cooking at home, and I'm converting stuff. I use my phone a lot because I always think there's 16 ounces in a cup. There's 8. So I always double check because I don't trust myself because I don't want to ruin my recipe. So I do double check when I'm in the kitchen to make sure I'm not putting 16 ounces in a cup instead of 8 ounces. Because for some reason, I always think 16 also, but it is only 8. So this is a table that you might want to put on your help sheet. You can put the conversion table on your help sheet. It would be a good thing so you don't accidentally think there are 16 ounces in 1 cup. So here's how we're going to use this. We know how to go from 60 seconds to 1 minute, but now we need to go from 60 seconds in 1 minute to how many seconds in 1 day. So it is a multi-step problem. Oh, wait. Lucas, I'm waiting. I'm not asking anybody to be sharing an answer with everyone. I'm waiting so we can see how we get the answer. Doesn't matter if we have it memorized, because sometimes our memories fail us. It matters that we know how to get to the answer. So on a test, we do the work. So that way we know we're putting the correct answer down, not trying to remember if I did it right. So let's look at how we get to how many seconds in a day. So we know there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. How do we find how many seconds are in 60 minutes? James?
60 times 60.
We're going to multiply by 60. So 60 times 60 is 3,600. So if there's 3,600 seconds in 60 minutes, we know 60 minutes is 1 hour. So there's 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. There's 24 hours in 1 day. So how did we go from 1 to 24? We times by 24. So 3,600 times 24 gets us 86,400. So if there's 86,400 seconds in 24 hours, we know there is 86,400 seconds in 1 day. So when we take it one step at a time, it's not so overwhelming. Okay. We're going to do the math each step of the way to make sure that we're doing the math correctly. Like I said, I always think there's 16 ounces in 1 cup, and then I have to say, oh, I need to double check. I think that's wrong. And it is. So we're not going to say, oh, I memorized this last year. I know exactly what it is. We're going to say, hey, I'm going to do the math to make sure. These ones up here are a lot easier to remember than how many seconds in 1 day. So let's look at how we would do how many inches in 2 yards. So we have to start with, well, what do we know? We know there's 12 inches in 1 foot. So how many inches would be in 3 feet, Jude? 36, because we have to multiply it by 3. So we know 3 feet is 1 yard, so we know there's 36 inches in 1 yard. And now we need to go to 2 yards. So what are we going to multiply it by? By 2. So 36 times 2 gives us 72 inches. Well, let me erase so we can scroll up. So now we don't have it spelled out for us. So we have to think of what our steps are going to be. How many ounces are in 3 quarts? What do you think my first ratio is going to be? Jude? 8/1. And I'm going to label it so I can keep it straight. So 8 ounces in 1 cup. That's right from our conversion table. What do you think we should do next? Is that clear? Clear.
2 cups in 1 pint.
We know that there's going to be 2 cups in 1 pint, so we need to multiply by that 2 to get our 2 cups. So there is 16 ounces in 2 cups, which is the same as 16 ounces in 1 pint. So what am I going to do next? Emerson? We're going to times it by 2, so we have 2 pints, and that would be 32 ounces. We did that because we know 2 pints is the same as 1 quart. So there's 32 ounces in 1 quart. We want to know how many are in 3 quarts.
No, not.
Again, we're not blurting stuff out. So how do I go from 1 quart to 3 quarts, Christian?
Multiply by 3.
I'm going to multiply by 3. So I get 96 ounces in 3 quarts. So I'm taking it one step at a time. And I know there will be people saying, I don't need to do every single step. I can convert some in my head and just write some down. And I'm going to get my answer. What might happen if we do that? Owen? You're going to make those simple math mistakes, right? When we say, oh, I can just do it all in my head, I'm only going to put a couple things on the paper, that's when we miss a step. That's when we accidentally multiply by the wrong thing. When I show us to do it step by step by step, it's because I want you to get the right answer. And when it comes time to take the test, I want you to be in the habit of writing step by step by step so we can get the correct answer on the test. Because there's a lot of us that make simple math mistakes on our math tests, and we go, oh, it's okay, I can just do the practice work and I can retake it, it's not a big deal. When you take the NWA, the math testing, can you retake those simple math mistakes? No. And all of a sudden you're going to get a lower score than what you wanted to get because you went too fast and you didn't write it all out. And when you're in high school and you take the SAT and the ACT and you're trying to get a high score so you can get into a good college and get scholarship money and you go too fast, you don't get to retake it. So I want us to be in the habit, in the practice of doing the work. So when we take those big tests, we remember to take our time, to go slow, and to do it correctly. Let's look at that last bottom one. Your heart beats 80 times per minute. How many times does it beat in 13 years? How am I going to start this out? Lucas,
Finding how many times.
what's my first ratio going to be?
80 over.
Oh, remember we are labeling, so 80 times in 1 minute. I want to ultimately get to 13 years. How am I going to get all the way to 13 years? What's my next step, Lucas?
You multiply by 60.
So that'll give me 60 minutes. 80 times 60 is 4,800 times. I'm just going to put a T for the times. We know 60 minutes is 1 hour. So 4,800 times in 1 hour. What's next?
Then you multiply by 24.
I'm going to multiply by 24. So 4,800 times 24 is 115,200. And we know 24 hours equals
1 day.
1 day.
And then after that, we multiply by 365 and a quarter.
Nope.
That's how many days.
Nope. How many days did we say was in a year up top?
365.
So why would you now be saying 365 and a quarter? When we're doing the conversion tables, what did I put at the top? So we don't get to try to say, oh, I'm going to remember that leap year and I'm going to throw that in, because we don't need that for the conversion table, so we don't need that. If you do that, if you use a different conversion than the table that we are given, we're going to get the wrong answer. Okay? So 365 days in a year, that's standard. That's what we go by. We don't say, oh, we got to factor in leap year. We're just going to go with the standard 365 days. So we want to multiply by 365. So now we get 115,200 times 365, and we get 42,048,000 times.
Because then you have to multiply by 13 years. Yeah.
So we know 365 days is 1 year. We multiply that by the 13 for the 13 years. So 42,048,000 times 13 years gets me 546624000. So 546,624,000 times in 13 years. So I heard somebody say what? Where did I lose you? Claire?
Oh, wow.
Okay. Shh. Eddie, where did I lose you?
Oh, that was
So-
Gaben.
Gabe.
I've been ready everything.
Okay. So somebody yelled out what? Who did I lose? Are you doing the beats per minute one? Do you see the steps that I went through, Gabe? So what way did you do it, Gabe?
I used the all calculator.
So what did I ask us to do, Gabe? Gabe, what did I ask us to do? To write it out. Okay, we're not just gonna put it all in the calculator. We need to write it out because otherwise we make those simple mistakes and it gets all wonky. So on your papers, I should see your steps written out. We're not trying to do stuff in our head. We're not just putting it all into the calculator. We write it out what we're doing each step of the way so we don't make those simple mistakes. Because it is super, super easy. Super easy to make those mistakes. So we are going to write out every step to catch those mistakes so we get correct answers. Because on the big tests in life, we don't get to do practice work and retakes on them. So we want to be in the habit of showing our steps and doing it correctly. Second page is more of the same. You need to write out your steps that you're doing. We have plenty of time. We are not going to rush to be done. Any questions on that second page? Addie?
Well, I just have a question. Can I just get the question so I can write it down and just fill it out? And then I'll fill it in when I get my thing at
Yes.
home.
Any questions on the objective that we're working on? Okay, so if you are watching this at home, we hope you are well. We hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.